Yo, what's up guys, Insane Game Freak here, and this is kind of going to be a new school anime kind of versus old school anime discussion. Mainly, it's going to be really kind of towards shonen, because shonen kind of gets the biggest flag in this, and I kind of just want to discuss a few things. Originally, I made this video already, but the problem is that video, after having a Skype call with like Larry, Zip, J-Man last night, it kind of made me want to rethink the way I did this video, so I decided to redo it this way. So, enjoy. So, essentially, I'm just kind of... The original video was me talking about how I don't like the fact that a lot of old school fans kind of put down a lot of the new school shows. The problem is I was comparing shows that technically are in a fairly similar time period. Because honestly, the comparison I was making in the first video was Dragon Ball and One Piece. Dragon Ball Z and One Piece, which isn't that big of a deal. I mean, my thoughts on that hasn't changed, but there's a couple, I didn't really bother to mention any of the new school stuff. You know, like the shit that's been coming out in the last few years. Like everything from like, you know, Zatch Bell to Mare to is Shaman King? Is Shaman King 90s? Is Shaman King 90s or early 2000s? Actually, I'm not sure. I believe it's early 2000s. I'm gonna say, you know, Shaman King, and then you have today's rookies, which is essentially Blue Exorcist, Toriko, Fairy Tail Reborn, Bakuman, Nura and Yu Yu Yokai Clan, shit like that. And here's my thing. I'm kind of, in terms of new school versus old school shonens and shit, the thing about old school shonens that I enjoy is that they're more likely to have more timeless material in them. Like, I like old school shonens for the fact that a lot of them have timeless material in them, and that some of them can be enjoyable. But whether or not I think that they're better is a different story. And the reason why I say that is because a lot of old school fans give old school anime kind of more a clout, at least in the shonen category, is because they did it first. And so, in which case, they kind of set the trend for later shonens. But and it's not like, you know, they don't deserve that respect in that regard. But the problem I have is that not all shonens, that there are newer shonens, I believe, that have done shit better. Not a lot, but there have been some things I've enjoyed more in newer shonens. For example, Blue Exorcist. You could probably make the argument that Blue Exorcist, Soul Eater, and Bleach are probably stemming from Yu Yu Hakusho. I think Bleach has a better start than Yu Yu Hakusho does. That doesn't mean I think Yu Yu Hakusho is less. I think I've watched enough of Bleach and Yu Yu Hakusho to go, Yu Yu Hakusho is better than Bleach. But I think Bleach has a better start than Yu Yu Hakusho does. I think Blue Exorcist has a better start than Yu Yu Hakusho does. And I don't think Blue Exorcist is as a stereotypical. Because, I mean, here's my thing, is that Yu Yu Hakusho set the trend for the street punk main character. Which you can also get in Air Gear, mind you, because Air Gear has a similar main character like that. But the problem I have with Yusuke is that he's cool and all, but it's like, I never was like, man, this is my nigga. Like, I like Yusuke, mind you. But I don't know why, I just never really clicked. I never clicked with characters like that. And I think, to me personally, I prefer Rin over Yusuke, even though you can obviously tell that Rin was kind of based behind Yusuke just in terms of character. And I mean, that's kind of how I feel. I feel like, I don't, like, the rule I'm making is that I don't feel like new anime, new shonen, at least new shonen anime, had to be held to the standard where they should top everything. I feel like, as long as you're topping certain things, I feel like as long as you can, you know, excel in one aspect, I won't really have a problem if you do a mildly repetitive thing. Because if I liked it in Dragon Ball Z, if you do it, that doesn't, you know, to me that's you homaging it and me still liking what you do because you're reminding me of something I enjoy. Mind you, that doesn't always work. For example, I'm not a huge fan of Fairy Tail. I am slightly more leaning towards watching it now because it has a dub. But honestly, I never really got into Fairy Tail, and people who know me know I haven't gotten into Fairy Tail because Fairy Tail to me feels like One Piece taken taking the campiness of it way too fucking far. And the reason why I say this is because from what I've seen of Fairy Tail doesn't look like it's taken all that seriously after a point. Mind you, I think Fairy Tail in the anime is only like 100 something episodes, and the manga is like, I haven't actually checked. I think the manga is like, what, in its 200s? But still, I mean, because it's not like with me and J-Man, because I believe J-Man's going to do a video like this. Jay likes more of the newer stuff than I do. Like me, I'm not a fan of Toriko that much. Because Toriko just doesn't seem appealing on any level to me. And Toriko feels like it took like an aspect of Dragon Ball Z and is blatantly just using that. Toriko, honestly, since I've been watching the Hunter x Hunter anime, you know, the 2011 remake, honestly, it feels like Toriko's trying to be akin to fucking Hunter x Hunter with like Goku's character design. Literally, that's what it looks like. And I got that vibe a lot around the episodes when I realized that, oh wow, Gourmet Hunters are actually in the Hunter x Hunter universe. I'm like, wait a minute. Is Toriko trying to tribute that? And if it is, then cool, but I haven't gotten enough of the Hunter x Hunter, so I can't really compare Toriko on that, really, yet. I mean, for God's sakes, I think One Piece is better than Dragon Ball Z, in my opinion. I like Dragon Ball Z, mind you. But I think One Piece is better than Dragon Ball Z. I haven't really decided if I think Blue Exorcist is better than Yu Yu Hakusho, mainly because I haven't read the manga for Yu. I know that everything in Yu Yu Hakusho is canon. I know half of what's in Blue Exorcist is filler. So I want to read the manga for Blue Exorcist before I make that comparison. But as I said before, I think Rin is done better than Yusuke is, because Yusuke seems kind of stereotypical now. And maybe that's because he set the trend for it. But I don't know, it just never came appealing. Like the whole Keiko Yusuke relationship, or just Yusuke as a character in general, I don't feel like he was done as well. I feel like Ren has been done better. I mean, especially with the whole father aspect. It's like, oh, we have Ryzen as an ancestral father, and it's like when he like the argument we were talking about last night is that when Ryzen died in the anime, it was like it was a big fucking deal, and it clicked, but. The way Blue Exorcist did it, where you had Ren's father, like quote unquote father, die in like the first few episodes, like because Ren's dad dies like what episode? He technically dies in episode 2, but he might as well have been dead by episode 1. But I mean, as I'm saying, like I feel more for that character than I did for Ryzen. Mind you, I like Ryzen, but I feel like his was done better. I also feel like. I don't know, it kind of just depends. I'm not going to just comment on Blue Exorcist. I mean, from what I hear, Reborn, I'm not totally sure what Reborn is actually akin to. I would think Reborn is trying to akin to, like... I feel like Reborn is trying to akin to, like, Dragon Ball Z in a sense sometimes. But then again, I'm not into Reborn enough to argue what about it is better than Dragon Ball Z or whatever it is trying to akin to. So I'm not gonna So that's my biggest problem, is because I don't like a lot of the newer stuff. I can't really do the same arguments I'm doing with like Blue Exorcist or One Piece, or Toriko for that matter. Just because it's just my thing is that I hate old school fans who shut down any new school stuff because it feels like old school stuff. Because to me, it should be paying an homage. That's what I kind of think of it as, is that you're more paying homages to. I don't feel like you can't do something that's been done. I just feel like it shouldn't be an exact clone of everything that's been done. I feel like there should be some portions of it that excel more than others. Like for me, I get more of a cool adventure feel for One Piece than I do from Dragon Ball Z, because Dragon Ball Z starts off as an adventure and then turns into saving the world kind of bullshit for like 4 fucking different arcs. Which is real to me, it's cool, but you know, it's kind of annoying when that's the same damn type of arc. And I'm not saying Dragon Ball Z sucks because of this. I'm just saying I feel like there are shows that done it better. You know. I'm trying to think of another new school, and actually that's probably the reason why I can't really respect Fairy Tail, because Fairy Tail just feels like One Piece, just taken less seriously. Considering, which kind of aggravates me. I mean, from what I hear, one of the biggest complaints with Fairy Tail is the fact that Fairy Tail, no one dies in Fairy Tail, and Natsu hasn't even lost yet. Now, I can kind of, and that feels like One Piece, because that was kind of One Piece up until Alabasta, where Luffy would go through fights and he would just win. He would just win shit. Even if he didn't win, like, by an overwhelming victory. He still won shit through, like, the same damn fight. It wasn't until we got to Alabasta where shit started getting mildly serious and he started getting his ass whooped. And Fairy Tail's in the hundreds. So I'm thinking maybe it's going to have that moment, like, from what I hear, maybe this next arc with the whole time skip thing, maybe it'll do that. But I'm just saying, that's kind of my non-appeal for that. Toriko is the same thing. Nura and Yu Yu Clan, I'm actually fairly enjoying that. I don't really have anything. Actually, to me, Nura and Yu Yu Clan is actually pretty original in itself because it's, to me, Nura and Yu Yu Clan, you could kind of argue, has a mild Inuyasha vibe from it. A mild, I'm not going to say hardcore, but, you know, I think Nura is pretty decent with what it does. I think Bakuman is actually pretty original for what it does. You know, I don't feel like new school shit is completely just bullshit compared to old school shit. Because there's a lot of things about old school animes I don't like. I mean, I don't really like the fact that in Yu Yu Hakusho it took me so long to give a shit. I mean, mind you, that's not what every Yu Yu Hakusho fan, but me personally, I'm not a huge fan of the OST for Yu Yu Hakusho, mind you. And I'm not a huge fan of just how slow it is in the beginning. And how kind of, I think, honestly, I still think the best arc in Yu Yu Hakusho is Chapter Black. And not because of fights or anything, but just because I like the moral standpoint that was thrown out the entire damn arc. Like, I feel like that arc, in my opinion, is probably the best thing in Yu Yu Hakusho, Chapter Black. In Dragon Ball Z, I respect it for what it does, you know. But I don't think it's the best of what it does. I feel like there are newer shonens that do with Dragon Ball Z better. Because Dragon Ball Z is cool, but Dragon Ball Z became less appealing during Z because it started just kind of floating on this monster of the week kind of formula where we just would run into niggas. And for people to say that these shows are better than shit now kind of aggravates me because it's like, how low are your standards? Are you like, to me, I feel like some people are just blinded by the fact that they pioneered shit and not actually by the fact that it's good. Because people need to understand there's a difference between being good and pioneering things. Pokemon pioneered shit, but people don't necessarily say Pokemon is the best. I don't think Pokemon is the best in terms of story or plot compared to Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Digimon. But, you know, but people don't have a problem with that. But people, when it comes to Yu Yu Hakusho and shit like that, I would argue Kenshin, but I need to watch Kenshin before I make any arguments on Kenshin. That's for anyone who wants to know why I'm not mentioning Kenshin. That's why I need to watch Kenshin before because I think in Kenshin is probably going to be akin to like Bleach in some level. I mean, mind you, a lot of people say that's what Yu Yu Hakusho is, but I feel like there seems to be a little click with Kenshin too. But mind you, I need to watch Kenshin. Actually, what you said, I got the first season back there. I have not touched it, and a lot of people are angry at me for that. I will get to it. I will get to it. Well, that's kind of just my whole argument. Is I don't feel like new school shit should be thrown under the bus just because it's doing things that the old school shows do. I guess a cool adventure title. I guess you could say like that, I mean, let's take something I'm reading. I'm currently reading right now. High and Closer. High and Closer came out like 2 or 3 years ago. High and Closer is akin to is literally feels like it's an akin to Zatch Bell. This feels like Zatch Bell on multiple levels. But the thing I can kind of respect about this is Zatch Bell taking it a little bit more seriously. Like that, like mind you, I don't think it does anything necessarily. No. It depends. It really does depend. Like I don't feel like it's such cut and dry shit where it's like, well, Luffy isn't better than Goku, so like I don't feel like it's that simple. Because if you take this is like Zatch Bell in a lot of ways. You know, main character teaming up with some type of weird creature from a different from I'm not gonna say different realm. It's different realm in Zatch Bell, and here it's just sorcery. They kind of just use sorcery as a justification for it. But I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain in the sense that just because something is akin to something else doesn't make it worse. Doesn't mean it's less inspired. I guess a lot of people say it is less inspired in a sense. But at the same time, you can just treat that as an homage. Unless you're just blatantly ripping everything off. And you're not even trying to do anything different. Like a lot of people say that One Piece is a ripoff of Dragon Ball Z. But the one thing I can respect about One Piece, way more than Dragon Ball Z, is that One Piece, it has a better world building situation. Like, in Dragon Ball Z, you had a whole bunch of fucking dinosaurs and prehistoric animals running around the land, and that shit was just kind of set up as a setting. There was no explanation for that. It was just, oh, there's just dinosaurs and fucking monsters running around. I mean, when they first introduced the aliens into Dragon Ball Z, you know, with the Saiyans and shit, and they went from there. They didn't actually try to expand upon these worlds, except for maybe Namek. Namek was like the only world, and that honestly was just because there was a correlation with Piccolo with it. But other than that, they didn't really try to do that with Cell. Well, actually, Cell, well, maybe not Cell. They didn't try to do that with Boo. Boo was just kind of set up to be a demonic creature who used to fuck with the Kais and got sealed. That's what it kind of boiled down to. Like, they didn't really try to world build. At least with One Piece, I can say every arc they've kind of gone through, shit has changed in some sense. You know, you're introduced to the concept of tone dials. You got introduced to the concept of transponder scales. You got introduced to the concept of hockey throughout arcs. You got introduced to the concept of new abilities from, you know, different types of devil fruit powers. You know, different modes of devil fruit powers. Evolutions in devil fruit powers. It wasn't just simple. You know, you learn an attack to beat this enemy, which is probably the main issue I have with old school shows like Inuyasha and Dragon Ball Z, is that they literally, I feel like they were just learning attacks because it was convenient. Whereas, at least in the newer school anime, I respect the fact that they have a variety of attacks, which is just kind of a small aspect, but there is something I think is better, because I don't like this whole appeal that, oh, well, in Inuyasha, to me, is like the worst offender with this shit. It's like, well, can't beat you, get this move, beat you. Then this move becomes useless, now I have to learn a new move, beat you. I mean, it worked, to me, that kind of worked in the sake of convenience, where you wouldn't have to try that hard to you know, expend the dude's repertoire unless it was convenient or it was necessary. I kind of like the fact that characters wanted to learn new moves just to be effective in different ways. And I think that's done better in new school anime than it is in old school anime. That's just one aspect, but that's kind of just my basic thoughts on it. Just tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. If this came off as a ramble, I apologize, but that's kind of how I am in some sense, so you gotta love me or hate me for it. So anyways, this has been the Insane Game Freak. Life's a gameplay to win. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section below. And I am talking too fast, so I'll catch you guys later. Peace!